Well, the ANC's conference adjourned to the 5th of January when it will hold a hybrid gathering in order to allow all members to be present and meet the required majority to adopt the party's constitutional amendments, among other things, and also several resolutions. But to recap what unfolded at Nasrec and to take a look at the road ahead for the ANC, my colleague, reporter Puletshwiti-Jones, is joining us now live here in our studios in Hyde Park. Good afternoon, Pule. Well, let's just take a quick look back at what were some of the challenges that the party encountered at its 55th National Conference, which we know, Pule, has been adjourned now until the 5th.
Yeah, well, definitely, Bredan, you know, this whole process of registration was marred by a lot of challenges, particularly when we first arrived. We spoke to a lot of frustrated delegates from various regions and provinces across the country who said that they had been camping there for about 2 days. There was an issue of accommodation as well, accommodation not being booked on time. There was an issue of transportation, food, amongst others. But at the very core central of these problems was that, you know, matter of load shedding as well, which delayed the whole systems of the ANC to ensure that delegates were registered on time. But again, there was also, you know, that whole problem around the technical, glitches that the systems encountered as well. The staff capacity was also a problem, and this is some of the the issues that culminated from that whole process of registration, which saw the conference being delayed by a lot of time and issues as well. But also many are saying that with the ANC not having the Secretary General office intact was also an issue, not having the Secretary General and a DSG as well to be there to facilitate almost all of these processes was one issue which delayed the organization from actually delivering this conference on time as well. But now the ANC does admit that they have to implement systematic solutions which will speak to improving the issue of registrations come their next program. Also, the Secretary General, Fikile Mbalula, saying that it's high time they include, ideas which involve technology to fast-track the processes of registering and ensure that they don't incur such delays anymore, particularly when they head into the January 8 event. So the ANC does admit that there's problems, but also they believe that they can find a way forward in terms of planning their program on time and ensuring that they can have their programs much more accurate and much more organized, but not delayed. Let's take a listen to what the Electoral Committee Secretary, Mr. Lupwane Matsila, had to say.
We have learned quite a few lessons, especially from a planning point of view, that the processes leading up to the nominations by the branch general meetings of the ANC should be planned ahead of time. If it was up to the Electoral Committee, we would have started this work at least 6 months before the conference, so that by the time we get to the date of the conference, it will be all systems go. But nevertheless, we realize that the work of making sure that 4,000 branches of the ANC nominate their preferred candidates and also elect their delegate to conference. It takes quite a lot of time. We also then face a number of challenges at the time of registration, also due to the technological issues and then the issue of timing generally, which I think we can improve from that perspective. Now you realize that we had quite a number of issues arising from the nominations on the floor. When we were dealing with the nomination on the floor for the top 7 officials, that took quite a long in terms of debate as to the nomination, especially of the second and first Deputy Secretary General. Was quite a long process, much more longer than we would have anticipated.
And what about the road ahead, Pule? Does the ANC think it can do better, for example, with its internal registration processes? Especially they'll be holding that hybrid to conclude that hybrid session on the 5th of January to conclude the 55th National Conference.
Yes, definitely. It believes it can do better. It believes much more has to be done to improve, their daily, administrative programs as well, to have more resources on board to plan ahead on time. They believe all of that can be done. But of course, the ANC is heading into the January 8 program or event, rather, with a lot of things they have to discuss, Bredan, particularly from the reports which speak to the membership decline, electoral decline as well, which is quite poorly as well when you look at how the numbers are actually going down in various provinces as well, such as Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal. But they're also having to look into the Integrity Committee report, which speaks, quite, large volumes around the issue of having to deal with members who've brought the party into disrepute, particularly saying that it will be engaging with just about 97 ANC members who were, of course, implicated in the state capture report. So those are some of the things that they may have to discuss going ahead into January. And we spoke to one analyst who believes that the ANC needs to pay attention to the quality of membership it brings in towards its organization. Let's take a listen.
And also, look, I'm not so much worried about the decline in membership. I'm more worried about the quality of membership. You have to remember, I think President Thabo Mbeki used to say fewer but better. The key issue for the ANC is the electoral decline, because I think that's what they really should be worried about. But that speaks to people saying, we don't believe what you have currently works, and you need to improve upon that. So I think that really should be the key focus of putting your best foot forward for the Republic.